Welcome to visit Extended Channel under Quality Academic Series. I'm continuing to introduce Asia Level for Quality event. Today, I will briefing the second ANQ Congress in 2004. Every time I introduce ANQ member involved 17 country and economic regions, about 20 organizations join together to exchange professional quality and information and theory. So every year we have the Congress in different ANQ members country or economic regions, and today is a second in India, and we are almost 18 Congress since 2003 to now. The second ANQ Congress was organized by India Society for Quality, ISQ. Location is in New Delhi, India, from 16 to 19 August 2004. We are together with the symposium and the second ANQ Congress and the 18th Asia Quality Symposium. And the theme is called Quality for the Prosperity of Asia. So Dr. Jin and I represent the HKSQ to join, and also have the two members from HKSQ, Asami and Davis, to join in this one. So we take the photo in front of the ANQ Congress backdrop. Now, I would like to introduce my second Congress paper named Introduction to the Quality Management System and Accreditation Scheme for Laboratory in Hong Kong. So it is my presentation. It is almost more than 18 years ago. And at that time, I would like to introduce what the Hong Kong situation about the laboratory quality management system. And it is my own company at that time. What is HOKLAS? HOKLAS is a short term of stand for Hong Kong Laboratory Accreditation Scheme. It was established since 1985. And then expanded in 1998 to Hong Kong Accreditation Service. And then after the expansion, there are improved fee scheme for laboratory, certification body, and inspection body. It is a voluntary scheme in Hong Kong for the laboratory perform the testing and calibration. Under this group meet HOKLAS requirement, and this requirement are according to the ISO 17 and 1025, and also their own supplementary criteria. We have the different accreditation test characteristic, even though now is much more than in 2004, but it is original basic industry in Hong Kong need to testing and certification service at that time. And then why we need to join the HOKLAS? Because we have mutual recognition agreement with different accreditation body in the world. At that time, it's 48. Now, much more than that. And then I introduced what is the mutual recognition agreement. With for example, with Australia, New Zealand, and UK, they have a mutual agreement. And also some international cooperation organization, we have the agreement. For example, APAS is a Asia Pacific Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, and also International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. And then we compare ISO 17025 and ISO 9001, the development path. They are matched. In the beginning, we are only a guide 25. After that, we are trying to match ISO 9000 quality management system. So in 1999, we issued the ISO 17025 incorporate with the requirements ISO 9001 and 2 at that time. And also, laboratories should carry out the calibration or testing. It meet the technical requirement. So therefore, in laboratory quality management system, they are separated into two requirements. One is a managerial requirement. It's the same as the ISO requirement in the past. And other requirement is a more focused on the technical requirement. It's like the personal accommodation, test method, equipment, traceability, sampling, handling, QA, and reporting, etc. This is the cross comparison, but it is almost 20 years ago. Now it's a much large change. But at that time, it's a managerial requirement and technical requirement separated. And then I introduced what is the auditing requirement, especially International Register of the Certificated Auditors, IRCA. And I have to go through the whole path from internal auditor, provisional auditor, auditor, and now I'm also a principal auditor. And then they have the requirement for lead auditor. For APES, they also have a different requirement. For example, and also ILAC introduced. In ILAC Guide 11, they have some criteria for lead auditor. We must fulfill this requirement, especially in the working experiment. They focus on the technical field for at least 4 years, and 2 years in quality audit experiment in the laboratory. It means you have the technical requirement and some auditor training based on this requirement. Technical assessor also have the different requirement focus on the laboratory testing and calibration. So it is my certificate. At that time, I almost attended all qualified training under the laboratory. The auditor, laboratory assessor, and the assessor training course, and also KMS, etc. Then I introduced the cause and effect diagram for QC laboratory. We are focused on staff, machine, material, method, environment, and QA. Design HOKLAS laboratory, we need to focus these 6 element parts safety. So for human resource, we need the proper training and show your competence. At that time, I have the trainer to use the scanning electron microscope and confocal microscope. Your equipment, major equipment accessory should be controlled, and other supporting device, you need to consider their calibration and maintenance. It's an EPA center I've surfaced in CTU and built all the facility, and this is a GCMS to use for chemistry. For material, we need to have a standard reference material or certified reference material like for chemistry. Method, separating the in-house method or laboratory developed method, or follow the international or national standard method, for example ASTM, or kind agreed to use non-standard method, etc. Environment separated into two. One is your infrastructure during the design, your storage and safety, and laboratory environment need to monitor the temperature, humidity, or any contamination, dust level, security and vibration, etc. It is one of example of laboratory 4 pen. I'm working in the EPA center in CTU WE department. This area for failure analysis, reliability, and also production package. QA in laboratory, really all the test method or calibration method lead to validation. if they are non-standard method or laboratory decided developed method, it means in-house method. If standard method, they have already validated for this standard method or publication. However, if you use the standard method outside their scope or modified it, you need to revalidate again. Or any change, you also need to revalidate the method. QA/QC practice should be implemented in your test method and also involve the internal audit. Calibration for reference standard, comparison with other methods are needed. For example, we will introduce inter-laboratory comparison, proficiency test program, etc. To assess different factors, it would be affecting your result. Assessment of the uncertainty now is necessary for uncertainty measurement. At the end, we need to consider safety, such as your use of compressed gas or pressure equipment, safety shoulder, eye washer, PPE, personal protective equipment is enough and sufficient, and communication equipment, waste disposal, dangerous good regulation and code of practice, for example, packaging and labeling the storage of the chemical waste, etc. And then at the end, I will introduce how to apply the HOKLAS accreditation. It is a procedure for initial contact, preliminary advise the laboratory and prepare the assessment of the laboratory and get the advice from the accreditation officer, and then you need to do some corrective action, and after accreditation you will grant the certificate. This is how to join this HOKLAS flow chart from HKAS. Lastly, at the end, we conclude HOKLAS can recognize the competence of testing and calibration laboratory in Hong Kong. We follow the ISO 17025 standard. It is an international recognized. We would like to eliminate the need for retesting and recertification from one region to another region. So we would like to achieve the one test result is recognized in anywhere. Some useful website, I'm sure, at the end of my presentation. And it is an old time by company, but now it's closed. Because after I joined the science part, and I closed my consultants. And every time it is our traditional event in the ANQ Congress, we have the Gala dinner and singing. So during the Gala dinner, India team have some performance from traditional performance, and then we sing a song. Every team, it is from China Association for Quality, leading by Mrs. Marlon, to lead us to singing. And Professor Pong Pong is Thailand to lead us singing and dancing at the end every year. So very happy. Usually, Hong Kong team have the post-Congress visit. For example, in Taimada, Manha. This is very beautiful. And we visit during the street. But take carefully. If you take the photo very close, they will ask you to pay the money. And some Indian food very spicy, and we have go to different landscape to see their culture. So my paper or my conference paper or congress paper, I'm post in the ResearchGate. You can search it and read it. It's I'm all upload here for sure. So I'm finished my talk and would like to highlight ANQ academics in Hong Kong are always participant in international congress. Anyway, and also our Hong Kong Society for Quality is very aggressive in the international sharing the quality theory and participate in different quality activity. Okay, thank you for your attention. See you in next session. I will introduce another ANQ Congress activity to you. Thank you. Bye.